Hello and welcome to Warcraft Daily for today, the 16th of November 2013. So in today's news, well, it's a little bit of a light news day, but thank you to MMO Champion for highlighting the interview with Gamebreaker that I completely missed out on, and the nice thing is that they even have the thing transcribed, so yay! Plus 5 points to you, MMO Champion. Other than that, I have some interesting stuff that I found on my Twitter feed and the various blue trackers that are worth checking out. So, let's get into the news. Now, first of all, this interview is probably what pertains to most of you, so we'll go into that first. It was a live interview with Ghostcrawler, and I think it was at the pre-Blizzcon party that was with WoW Insider, WoWhead, and Gamebreaker. So, let's get into it. They said that Raid Finder is finally, in their opinion, at a pretty decent place, but that there's always room for improvement. I definitely agree. I think there's a lot of room for improvement with Raid Finder, and honestly, in Warlords of Draenor, I even saw developers specifically saying Raid Finder is essentially going to be the tourism mode, where you go in, you see the content, and it doesn't seem to be really that designed for the sort of person who's going to keep on grinding through to get the gear. I think this is fair enough. Anytime when they make LFR decently challenging, what happens is there's lots of wipes, completion rates just go through the floor, but they don't go through the floor because there's some fun challenge to overcome as a team. It really is just because of some idiot who's running around in circles pretending he's a chicken, not attacking the damn boss. You know, like the difficulty of a normal mode is that you overcome this difficulty, or the fun even, is that you overcome a difficult challenge with your friends because you're all good at the game, and that feels really great. But in Raid Finder, not so much. So yeah, they also said that Flex has not had a huge impact on the amount of people using Raid Finder. I'd imagine that as we go on, a lot of people would probably move up from Raid Finder to Flex. This is probably a good thing in my opinion, because Flex, it can be pugged, kind of. As time goes on, it'll be more puggable. It's, I suppose it does require a little bit more skill and that sort of thing, but it's still easy enough so it's accessible to a lot of people, and for the people who it's meant for, it just provides a really great game experience that's tailored to them. Icecrown 10 is essentially what Flex is based off, and Icecrown 10 worked out great for the game, so I think that's a really positive thing. Now, of course, Flex is being renamed to Normal in Warlords of Draenor. The reason for that is because Flex is the mode that the most people are playing, so therefore it makes the most sense for the most common mode to be normal. I totally get that. They also said that the drop in the number of tanks in Raid Finder is partially due to how they are treated. So they even said, yeah, if you want faster queues, be nice to your tanks. This is definitely true. People are dicks to tanks. And what's the incentive of going up as a tank? Well, the incentive is you get a very fast queue in. What's the problem though? You get abused for a solid 40 minutes in a lot of groups. This is really a problem, and it's kind of hard to social engineer people, you know, especially just in a game like this and in Raid Finder. I don't really see how you can social engineer people into being a little bit nicer and more positive. I suppose in general things will go up in terms of how nice people are, the more structured things are, because there's a little bit more accountability, but in general it's just a lack of accountability that you find in Raid Finder, and I don't really know what they're going to do to alleviate that problem. Also on Proving Grounds, they said that Proving Grounds worked out quite well, and the developers are going to upgrade it and keep on working on it in the future, and they said they could break it up into a melee or ranged DPS version. I think that's actually a big thing they should do, because it's really not perfectly balanced in that regard. Also, they said they could provide more feedback when you make errors. I think that's actually the most important thing, because like humans, you know, we learn the most when we fail, and they don't really provide you the instant feedback when you fail to get people to learn, meaning it kind of takes away from the whole instructional purpose of Proving Grounds. And finally, they said they might bring it to lower levels. I think that's definitely good. Train people up from the very minute, not the minute they get into the game, but at least from early on. I'd say perhaps before you go into your first dungeon, they take you to a proving ground and you get to prove your chops there. I think that would be a great way to do things, because that way everyone who goes into a dungeon will at least half know what they're doing. And okay, old world dungeons, complete cakewalk, but at least there's a proving grounds there so people can understand things, then it's better. It couldn't be worse, right? Now, they also said that the team is still thinking about letting you enter LFR with a lower than normal item level if you have gold Proving Ground achievements, and especially with alts. I'd say with alts, yes, with mains, no. But overall, I think that's a very positive decision, because it rewards people to play well. And you know what? Gold Proving Grounds, it at least means you're semi-half competent. I've done gold as a tank, and I've done gold as a... and what's the other one? As a DPS. And really, like, you'll suffice for LFR if you have gold reward. Therefore, I think they should let you in. That's fair enough. I suppose with item level is really more a measure of how much time someone's put in, not their skill. I've seen people do more damage than other people when they have 20, 30 item levels less. At the end of the day, skill is still a very important factor of the game. Also, they said that Proving Grounds are not perfectly evenly balanced for every class and spec, so they shouldn't be used to compare different classes and specs. Who would have thought it? Like, this makes perfect sense. Now for some miscellaneous things, it said the live raids in Blizzcon were picked because they were visually interesting and would fit the allotted time span. Definitely did. If you don't know, the winners of this was Method, so once again, Europe wins, America loses, just as it should be. That said, Midwinter, they're pretty fun to watch. I think what always strikes me about when I watch the Midwinter stream is they're all really chilled, which is kind of cool. Also, they said that the big unannounced feature for patch 5.4, which everyone was talking about, was actually 2 features. One of them was cancelled, and one of them was delayed until Warlords of Draenor and Ghostcrawler will let us know when it's added. What could it be? If you have speculation, throw it down in the comments for this video. I'd like to find out. Also, let's move on and talk about PvP faction balance. First of all, they said that when choosing what realms to connect, they're picking ones in which they would improve the situation wherever possible. Now, of course, in both Europe and America, PvP realms are leaning Horde, PvE leaning Alliance, so it's very hard to do this, but at least they can improve the ratio, maybe so it's not equal, but maybe instead of it being 10 to 90, it's 30 to 70. Perhaps they might be able to do that. Also, they said that in Warlords of Draenor, the new PvP zone will make use of their cross-realm tech to ensure there's a good faction balance there to help out with the PvP objectives. I think that's, once again, great. This cross-realm tech, I think the original cross-realm zones thing maybe wasn't the best implementation, and I think that the best use of this tech is in things like PvP objectives and stuff like that, where they really need to ensure that balance is paramount. It doesn't, like, it sucks, even if there is, like, say, a tenacity buff, like they did with Winter Grasp, then, you know, you're still just getting, like, CC'd and shit by a complete zerg of players, and it's not fun. So at the end, yeah, I think it's best to have it this way. Also, they said that while talking about making money off character transfers, they really, while the money is nice from the character transfer feature, there's more of a financial incentive to keeping players happy. Because when you think about it, like, sure, it's a good bit of money that they make off all these transfers, and I know from, it was an episode of The Instance I was listening to, Scott Johnson, the host there, of course, he's not in tight with Blizzard, like, they're still an independent group, but he can find things out, I suppose, and they definitely do make enough money for it to make, like, for it to be relevant from these services, but they did say that, really, it's financially, it's more worthwhile to have a subscriber, and they don't want to make it so the free character transfers make people quit or paid character transfers make people quit the game, because a few ticks of subscription is more profit than one character transfer. So yeah, honestly, I still think that, as we said in the last episode, and what some people said in the comments, it really should be $10 or $15 or £10 or whatever, and you get a one realm to one realm transfer for one person, meaning you can get as many characters as you want, so if you really want to move over to another server, that's fine. Because, just because of all the reasons I said last show, I'm not going to repeat myself. Also for tweets, let's just finish the show off. They said they would like an arena spectating mode. I think this is great. I think also a raid spectating mode, and the reason why I'd really like this is because a lot of games with spectating mode, like LoL, Dota, stuff like that, they have quite a nice YouTube scene, because people can take a really good arena match, and they can do a spectate, they can commentate it, they can add something to it. Well, in World of Warcraft, we can't really do that, can we? Okay, we have POV stuff from people like Soda Poppin', Swifty, Wreckful, stuff like that. Is Wreckful? I don't know, is he Hearthstone? I don't know. That whole group. It's funny, though, with the World of Warcraft PvP community, it's like they're all trying to be ultra dude bros, which I think's funny, but whatever, like, they're all really skilled, so fair enough to them. But yeah, I think it would be great for, well, it would mainly be great for them if there was an arena spectating mode. It would be pretty cool for me. I might be able to spectate a raid or something, but in general, that would be a really nice feature. The more they spread this game onto YouTube and other places, well, then people like me do their marketing for them, and it works quite well for everyone involved. Also, they said they would like to make PvP rewards less deterministic. By deterministic, it's more that just sort of means, you know, you're getting X amount of conquest every week, and therefore you'll get X amount of gear every week. That's not fun. And there needs to be a little bit more spice, I suppose. And they said they just have to be careful about how they do it. And in this tweet, actually, they said they hadn't really thought of a good reason or, like, a good way to do it. That's not true. They have. In Warlords of Draenor, after you do a battleground or something, you have a chance of getting a loot drop. I think a few other things like that. But in general, there'll be a little bit more randomy fun stuff coming in with PvP. And of course, if people are worried about gear levels getting out of hand in Arena, Trial of the Gladiator will be giving everyone just like a preset balanced piece of gear for Trial of the Gladiator, so if you still want your 100% balanced, skill-only PvP, then that's there for you. And finally, about World PvP, they think that flying mounts and server transfers had a much bigger effect on it than item levels did. And you know what? That's just damn true. Especially the flying mounts. The flying mounts meant that it never really happened, and because it never really happens, there's not a great deal of people that prepare for it. It's weird. I just wish there was like a 50-50 PvP server, because I think that might actually be quite fun. There'd be some cool emergent gameplay. At least in my head there would be, but I suppose with everyone flying all over the place, would people just fly past each other? Actually, I have another question for you. If you're on a PvP server, and this probably isn't so relevant now because the Timeless Isle is probably rather empty, but I'd like to know what the Timeless Isle is like on a PvP server. Is it just constant warfare and craziness? Because like the only safe place you have is those two little like safe home bases and the Celestial Arena. I can imagine it being crazy. Like, how the hell do you farm your Ordos rep, or whatever, or Xiaohao rep, if you're on the other faction? I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out. But anyway, that's it for today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments to make, please leave them in the comments section. Like and subscribe if you want to help me out. And with that, I'll see you next time.